Some Washington quarters are worth way more than 25 cents because of rare mint errors. Off-center strikes, double dies, and missing mint marks can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's jackpot. Always check your change. You never know what you'll find. The 1974 United States Washington quarter dollar is one of those coins that most people have handled countless times. Slipping it into vending machines, dropping it into payphones, or tossing it into a change jar without much thought. Yet, when examined more closely, the 1974 quarter reveals itself to be far more than just 25 cents. It is part of a long-running series with deep historical significance, a coin struck in massive numbers during a period of important change in American coinage, and a piece that, in certain rare conditions or with unique mint errors, can fetch impressive sums at auction. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, features the left-facing bust of Washington on the obverse with the word Liberty at the top, In God We Trust to the left, and the date at the bottom. The reverse carries a powerful heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, encircled by United States of America and E Pluribus Unum, with the denomination quarter dollar at the bottom. For over 6 decades, this design dominated American coinage, and by 1974, it was an everyday sight across the country. What makes the 1974 Washington quarter particularly interesting is the context of the time. Just a decade earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had ended the use of silver in quarters. From 1932 to 1964, quarters were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. But as silver prices rose, people began hoarding coins, and the mint was forced to change the composition. Starting in 1965, quarters were produced using a copper core sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel, a clad composition that gave the coins their familiar silver-like color but contained no actual silver. By 1974, the public had grown accustomed to these clad coins, though collectors still prized earlier silver issues. The 1974 quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 801 million quarters, while Denver struck nearly 354 million, both without silver content. San Francisco produced proof coins for collectors, with over 2.6 million proof sets distributed. These proof coins, struck with polished dies and special care, were never intended for circulation and stand out for their mirrored surfaces and sharp details. Because of the high mintages, most 1974 quarters are extremely common and worth only face value in circulated condition. Billions of these coins were made to meet the everyday needs of commerce, and most have seen heavy wear. However, the story changes dramatically when you look at high-grade survivors and rare error coins. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and pristine examples of the 1974 quarter can be surprisingly valuable. While an average circulated quarter is worth just 25 cents, an uncirculated specimen graded MS-66 or MS-67 can sell for far more. Coins with strong luster, sharp strikes, and no contact marks are rare because so many quarters were carelessly handled. An MS-67 coin, for instance, has brought prices in the hundreds at auction, and the few known MS-68 examples can command several $1,000s. For collectors who focus on condition rarity, the 1974 quarter in superb preservation is a prize. Errors and varieties add another layer of excitement to this coin. The sheer volume of quarters struck in 1974 meant that mistakes were inevitable, and collectors today eagerly seek out those unusual survivors. Off-center strikes are among the most dramatic errors, where the design is shifted away from its intended alignment, leaving a blank crescent on the coin. A 1974 quarter struck 20% off-center might sell for $150 or more, and more extreme examples can climb even higher if the date remains visible. Broad strike errors are another category, occurring when the collar die that holds the coin in place during striking fails. This causes the quarter to spread out larger than normal with flattened edges. A well-preserved broad strike error from 1974 can sell for $75 to $200. Double strikes and multiple strikes are even more eye-catching, where the coin was struck more than once by the dies, leaving overlapping images of Washington or the eagle. Dramatic double-struck 1974 quarters can fetch several $100s, especially in uncirculated condition. Clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the blank coin was accidentally cut off before striking, are also known for this year. These coins, with their obvious curved or straight clips, can bring $50 to $150 depending on severity and grade. Then there are transitional or wrong planchet errors, the holy grails for error collectors. In extremely rare cases, a 1974 quarter might have been struck on a blank meant for another denomination or composition. These oddities can command thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a 1974 quarter struck on a nickel planchet, smaller and darker than normal, or even on a leftover silver planchet from 1964. Such coins are extraordinarily rare, but they do exist, and when they appear at auction, they bring staggering prices. Proof coins from San Francisco also hold their own allure. Most are affordable, worth just a few dollars, but collectors prize deep cameo examples, where the frosted design contrasts dramatically with the mirrored background. A 1974 S-proof quarter graded PR69 or PR70 deep cameo can bring $50 to $200. And just like with business strikes, proof coins with unusual errors, such as missing mint marks or double dies, can soar much higher. Auction records highlight just how valuable the 1974 Washington quarter can be under the right conditions. While circulated coins are nearly worthless, high-grade pieces and dramatic errors transform this common quarter into a star. In one example, a 1974 D Washington quarter graded MS68 by PCGS sold for several $1,000s, proving that condition rarity is highly rewarded. Off-center and double-strike errors from the same year have fetched hundreds, and clipped planchet examples consistently draw strong demand. The beauty of the 1974 quarter lies in its dual identity. For most Americans, it was just a workhorse coin, part of daily life in the mid-1970s, a time of cultural change, economic challenges, and political upheaval. But for collectors, it represents an opportunity to discover hidden treasures. In a pile of ordinary quarters, a sharp-eyed searcher might uncover a pristine mint-state gem, a dramatic error, or even a once-in-a-lifetime rarity. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its place in history. The year 1974 was just before the Great Bicentennial Redesign, which would transform the quarter's reverse in 1976 into a colonial drummer design for the 200th anniversary of American independence. That makes the 1974 Washington quarter one of the last of the traditional eagle reverse issues before the commemorative change, a fact that gives it additional interest as part of the larger story of American coinage. In the end, the 1974 Washington quarter is a perfect reminder that even the most common coins can hold extraordinary stories. A coin struck by the hundreds of millions may seem unremarkable, but condition, rarity, and error types can transform it into something highly valuable. Whether it's a flawless MS68 example that brings thousands at auction or an off-center strike that excites collectors, the 1974 quarter proves that treasures still hide in plain sight. So the next time you come across a 1974 quarter in your change, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look at Washington's portrait, examine the eagle on the reverse, and check for signs of unusual errors or pristine condition. Because while most are only worth a quarter, a few have already proven themselves capable of commanding hundreds or even thousands at auction. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the hunt for the extraordinary in the ordinary, and the knowledge that even a coin minted nearly 50 years ago can still surprise you. The 1996 United States Washington quarter is one of those coins most people see as ordinary pocket change. Yet for collectors and numismatists, it can tell a deeper story filled with historical context, minting details, unexpected errors, and surprising auction results. At first glance, it's just a quarter worth 25 cents at the register, but when you step back and study the production of the 1996 quarter, especially in high grades or with minting mistakes, you realize that some of these coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. In rare cases, the right error coin from this year has soared into five-figure territory, making it a small disc of metal with a big story. To appreciate the 1996 quarter, it's important to remember the long history of the Washington quarter design. First introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the coin quickly became the standard quarter dollar in the U.S. economy. Designed by John Flanagan, the obverse features a left-facing bust of Washington with the word "Liberty" above, the motto "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date 1996 positioned at the bottom. On the reverse, we see the familiar heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, surrounded by United States of America, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar. By 1996, the coin was still being struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, with a pure copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper-nickel alloy that gave it a silver-like appearance. The days of 90% silver quarters had long since ended after 1964, but collectors still admired the look and feel of these clad issues when preserved in pristine condition. The Philadelphia and Denver mints handled the majority of circulation strikes in 1996, with the P and D mint marks identifying their origin, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions for collectors, marked with the S. The 1996 quarters are common in circulation today, with hundreds of millions struck between Philadelphia and Denver. In everyday use, they remain worth only 25 cents. But what makes them special, and occasionally very valuable, are condition rarity and minting errors. For collectors, high-grade coins with sharp strikes and no marks can fetch strong premiums. An ordinary 1996 quarter in worn condition might never be worth more than face value, but an MS-67 or MS-68 coin with perfect luster and detail can easily sell for hundreds at auction. Registry set collectors compete fiercely for the very finest examples, and it's not unusual for a top-graded quarter from 1996 to cross the $1,000 mark. Even more exciting, though, are the error coins from this year. Minting errors have a way of transforming an ordinary coin into a collector's prize, and the 1996 quarters did not escape this fate. One of the most popular errors collectors look for is the off-center strike. When a coin blank is not properly centered in the press, the resulting strike can leave part of the design missing. If the date and key features remain visible, such an error can sell for $100 to $500, depending on the severity of the misalignment. Another desirable mistake is the broad strike, which happens when the retaining collar fails to hold the blank in place, causing the coin to spread outward. Broad strikes from 1996 can range from $50 to a few $100s, depending on condition and appearance. Double strikes, where the coin receives two impressions with overlapping designs, are especially eye-catching and often bring $300 to $800 at auction. Perhaps the most spectacular and valuable error type is the wrong planchet strike. A 1996 quarter struck on a dime or cent planchet, or even a foreign coin blank, is a true rarity. These pieces are smaller, lighter, and sometimes a completely different color, making them instantly recognizable. Coins like this have sold at auction for thousands, with some examples pushing past $10,000 when certified by PCGS or NGC. Proof coins from San Francisco also play a role in the story of the 1996 quarter. These coins were struck with specially polished dies and planchets to achieve mirror-like fields and frosted details. While most proof coins from 1996 are not scarce, examples graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the absolute top grade, are extremely rare. Such pieces can command strong premiums, and when combined with an unusual error, they become especially valuable. Auction records highlight the surprising potential of this coin. A 1996 P. Washington quarter graded MS-68 by PCGS has sold for over $2,000. Similarly, top-graded 1996 D examples with flawless strikes and luster have reached into the $1,500 range. Error coins, depending on type and severity, have crossed into the thousands. For example, a dramatic double-struck 1996 quarter with off-center features sold for more than $3,000 at a major auction. And a rare wrong planchet strike where the coin was struck on a clad dime blank, brought over $5,000. All of this proves a powerful point. The 1996 quarter may be modern and common in circulation, but certain coins from that year are anything but ordinary. Whether it's a flawless mint state example or a dramatic mint error, these coins have found a special place in the numismatic world. The real thrill comes from the idea that these valuable coins might still be hiding in plain sight. Many of the error coins discovered in recent years came not from dealers or collectors, but from ordinary people who happened to notice something unusual about their change. A slightly off-center design, an unusually wide rim, or a coin that felt lighter or looked smaller than normal. These small details turned out to be worth thousands. It's a reminder that treasure can still be found in everyday life. Even though billions of quarters have been minted over the years, there's always the chance that the one you pull from a cash register or coin jar is special. And for collectors, that possibility is what makes the hunt so compelling. The 1996 Washington quarter is not just a piece of metal. It's a bridge between America's past and present, a continuation of a design that had been in use since the 1930s, and a coin that would soon give way to the revolutionary 50-state quarters program in 1999. It marks the final years of the traditional eagle reverse before the explosion of state-themed designs captured the public's imagination. In that sense, it carries historical significance as part of the last generation of classic Washington quarters. So the next time you come across a 1996 quarter, don't dismiss it as just pocket change. Look closely at the details. Check the strike quality, the luster, and the edges. Inspect it for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet characteristics. You never know. You might be holding a coin that's worth far more than 25 cents, maybe hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. That's the beauty of numismatics. The thrill of discovery, the excitement of history in your hands, and the possibility of hidden value make even the most ordinary-looking coin fascinating. And the 1996 Washington quarter, with its combination of history, condition rarity, and spectacular errors, is the perfect example of how a simple piece of change can transform into a collector's prize.